I'm calling the Sunset Empire Transportation District Board of Commissioners meeting for March 28, 2024 to order. First, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody will stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mary, would you do roll call, please? So Tracy is.
Commissioner Alegria,
Oh, here.
Commissioner Gamero,
Present.
Commissioner Bushnett.
Here.
Commissioner, what? Sorry, Withers. I'm really outdated. Sorry.
They're both here.
Okay, sorry. Commissioner Wickie?
Here.
And,
Tracy's on there. Tracy's on there.
Yeah. Commissioner McDonald?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sorry. Very sorry.
Changes to the agenda.
Oh, I took you to announcement. You can see I'm already done.
I think everybody's this way today.
Okay.
So I have a possibility of a change, and it's kind of up to the board if we take the approval of employee policies off. I know some of you would like to see the current policies so you can compare them to the proposed policies. So do we want to move that to our April meeting, or do we want to have a little bit of discussion about the employee policies today?
April, I'm sorry.
Okay, I have a motion to move them to April. I have a second.
Oh,
And Pam,
I was gonna.
I'm sorry, the boys beat you. Is there any discussion?
Okay, wait.
Okay,
Just a comment. Okay, so we have, budget meetings right in the beginning of May. And since this is a mammoth term, that we could do it in July or June.
Well, if we get it done in April, we don't have anything coming up in April. So if that gives us a month to look at it and do it 4 weeks from now. 4 weeks from now.
Okey dokey.
Going to Italy for a week, a
I
month.
think it just changed my thing.
She can take those with her and read them when she's sitting at the pool or something.
12-hour flight.
There you go. Okay, is that all the discussion?
Can we add budget training? I want to talk about it.
Okay, so let's take the approval of employee policies, and can we put budget training in A? And I need a motion to add those. Do you want to amend your motion, Charles,
So we move it
to taking the approval of employee policies off and adding budget training?
Okay, I move we just remove the budget
She's had-
policy, the training policy. I'm removing the board,
Employee policies
employee policy, I'm sorry.
and replacing it with the budget training.
Okay, that's, remove the budget policy and replace it with the
Budget
board
training.
budget.
And
I'm sorry.
and Paul seconds that, so.
Using this.
Okay, any other discussion?
Think more coffee.
All right, so we will take a vote on the amended motion first.
Okay, Commissioner Alegria,
Yes.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Withers,
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald,
Yes.
Commissioner Wickie,
Yes.
Commissioner Bushnett,
Yes,
motion passes.
the amended motion passed, so now we'll go to the original motion. And would you also take a roll call on that?
Commissioner Alegria,
Yes.
Commissioner Withers,
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald,
Yes.
Commissioner Wickie,
Yes.
Commissioner Bushnett,
Yes,
Commissioner Romero.
Yes.
Motion passes.
thank you. Okay, we'll go to number 5, public comment. Jason, is there anybody on the public that would like to speak?
There's nobody in the chat, and I see nobody on the screen with their hand raised.
Okay, anybody from the public? All right, okay, no public comment today. Approval of the board minutes, number 6, from our last meeting in February. We would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I move,
Go ahead, ma'am.
I move to approve the minutes.
Thank you.
So
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Go ahead, Pam.
It's not a discussion really, but I haven't received, on page 9, it states that the treasurer will receive the bank reconciliation statement.
They don't come out till after the first of the month.
Okay,
So you're not gonna get it with Lewis and Clark. They do have them online. It'll probably be online by Saturday, but you're not gonna get it in the mail until probably about next Friday.
okay, and you get a copy as well, is that right?
Kelly gets a copy.
Because, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else, any other discussion? Okay, Mary, would you take a vote, please?
Commissioner Legria,
Yes,
Commissioner Withers.
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald,
Yes.
Commissioner Wickie,
Yes.
Commissioner Schmidt,
Yes.
Commissioner Romero.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Moving on to reports from the chair and commissioners, and I'll go ahead and start this month since I didn't last month. Attended the Oregon Department of Revenue law budget sessions, all 3 of them, was very informative. Attended the transportation, the Transportation Day,
Transit Appreciation Day.
Transit Appreciation Day, that lots of good food there, lots of good food there. And I think that's about the end of my report for today. Let's go with you.
Good morning. I have nothing to report.
Thank you,
Glad to
okay.
be here though.
Perfect. Pamela?
attended all the budget meetings and the Employee Appreciation Day, which was a very lovely event.
Charles?
Attended the budget training, days, I guess it was 2 of them. Three of them. Very informative, thought the presentations went well. Had tons of questions, but we can do it later. And did not make it for me, and boy, appreciation goes all out of town. But I think it's a good thing we did it. I think it needs to happen. We're gonna do it, they're gonna do it monthly.
I think they do it yearly, maybe?
Oh, this is different, this is not.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is the Oregon Department of Revenue.
Gotcha, okay. But I looked quite fun for all, but I couldn't because it was great.
It was a good, it was good.
I have enough.
Paul?
Well, I do apologize for not being able to make the Transit Employee Appreciation Day. But Janice and I were out of town, so I apologize to the district for that. I did attend the local budget law trainings, and I did perform the quarterly review of the district's transactions, its per requirements, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Paul. Tracy?
I've kind of been busy with some personal health issues, so I haven't been real active, and the doctor wants it that way. And so I will look forward to next month when I can get up and walk around, so.
Thank you, Tracy.
Get better.
Hope you better soon.
Thank you.
All right, we're down to number 8, our financial reports.
Good morning. Good news, we got contingency set up. We were budgeted to transfer most of it previously and then finish the rest in March. But I went ahead and just moved it all in February. So everything that we budgeted for contingency is in the contingency account, which is an actual bank account that's separate from everything else. So that is set up and ready to go. All in there, so I was glad to be able to do that and not have to worry about that going forward.
Is that in the money market?
It's in a money market, yes, so it's earning interest.
I have to say, that's a comforting feeling about that.
It's a very comforting feeling and it's a very rewarding feeling to know that it's there and it's done.
It should be.
Yeah, it really is. It's nice to know that the account's set up, that it's separated, you know, and that it's really real live dollars that are there.
Yep.
So that's
Great.
very,
And what is the interest rate?
I don't know what the interest rate is off the top of my head. It's at Lewis and Clark Bank, so you'll get it as part of your bank statement.
Okay.
So since we're talking contingency and interest, I would like to have you do some research with some other banks. Lewis and Clark interest rates are way lower than others. I know my husband and I, as much as I hate to, we have moved some of our money out of Lewis and Clark just because of their interest rates. Put some in WANA and some in US. US is paying pretty good on an elite money market, so you can still get it in and out without waiting for it to roll over.
Okay.
So if you would look into those, because I think you can get more than that 3% that we're paying on the loan, which would be really nice.
Right, would be really nice to be able to do
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I'll definitely do
So
that.
if you would look
Good to
into
know.
that, I would
Yeah.
appreciate that.
So, and I know sometimes Lewis and Clark is a little, they might be willing to do some
They-
adjustments. There was talk at one point.
They would for my husband, but not enough.
Okay.
So, I know they're a local bank, I like to support local, but this is,
We wanna make money on our money that's sitting there. So, yeah, I'll look into that going forward. All of our Q2 reporting is done for ODOT for our STIP and our 5311 and 5310. So hopefully our reimbursements will move along smoothly. They've both been submitted. I haven't heard anything back as far as them not being accepted. There was a couple of questions. We responded to those and got that information updated. So hopefully we'll get those in a timely manner. Our 5311 reimbursement is set for $114,520. And our 5310 is set for $8,762. So I'm hopeful to receive those in the next month.
Are we on schedule? Are we
At
close?
this moment, for reimbursements,
Yeah.
at this moment, we're on schedule. We'll see what it will be a true tell to how long it takes for this one to process. Because our first quarter reimbursements were held up based on, you know, us basically checking the last couple of boxes of some things that we needed to provide in our board packet in our January board meeting.
So the second quarter should be telltale.
It should be, yeah.
I have a question. Are our reimbursements delayed because of some of the issues that ODOT is having?
I don't have the answer to that question. ODOT doesn't provide us with that information other than you'll kind of get your reimbursement when you get it.
Okay. We're at their mercy, right?
We are at their mercy, 100%. So I'm just gonna be hopeful that it'll process and, you know, if it doesn't, I'll cross that bridge when I get there.
I did, oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead,
I did have a couple of questions.
go for it.
On the payroll, 22324, should that be 32324?
That should be pretty something, okay.
We're on page.
I'm on page 11.
I had a couple of funky mistakes on that this time that I'm just like,
And then, so those funds have already been removed from this,
yes.
so okay.
The only thing that hadn't been removed was the AP that was for this week.
Okay.
Other than that, everything else had been processed by the
And
time I had done this.
then on page 13, the 4505, interest earned on bank, did we actually get $4,800 in interest?
It's because part of the, so that interest is our interest on our contingency money and our interest in LGIP.
Oh,
So when you actually have money sitting in LGIP this time of year, you earn some good interest on it.
all right, cool.
Yes, I checked the interest throughout as I've gone and I'm like, that can't be right, that number's not right. And I go back and look and it's right.
And then one other question, I know I asked about this last month, the 4605 other income.
605.
your
On-
dashboard,
on 13.
right, but if you
On the
look back at your dashboard, it gives you like an idea, so
Oh, I
we
see
had
that.
dental payments from Cobra, and then we had Pacific Source. We do this, like, we pre-fund our HRA based on our number of employees, so that was pre-funded, but then we got a refund because we don't have as many employees anymore. And then in learning, payments for ATU, we had made 2 payments in 1 month, so they refunded us for that.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry, I missed
No,
that.
you're good.
And then one more question on page 22. The projected if we start, or when we start, or we definitely got there, Route 15 in May 1st, are these projections including our upstart on May 1st for Route 15? Does that make sense? Okay, that's all I had on financials.
Yeah, we're not so prominent with it.
Yeah.
We take care of it.
Pamela?
One, I was reading notes from some SBAO conference, and it is illegal to have a miscellaneous item for your information. But the other thing is, on page 15, on liabilities and net assets under 2015, we have $206,598 in credit card payable.
That is, that's not the current credit card payable, that's the lifetime credit card payable.
I'm sorry, it's
It's a lifetime.
lifetime? What does
It's,
that mean?
that number just keeps rolling. It doesn't change by the month. It's not just a monthly number. We don't have $216,000 in credit card, no. Like,
Is that the cumulative number within Act Fund
yes,
from the beginning?
So that's what we've spent with credit cards from the very beginning of credit card time.
again, I actually just had a conversation with John yesterday about our balance sheet and AccuFund and how it's still not perfect. The balance sheet is really there because it's required of ODOT. ODOT has required me to put this document in here. I know it's not 100% right. I know there's issues within this document that I am not sure how to fix. I need to actually have somebody come in and fix it, go back to the beginning and fix it. It's something I'm not capable of doing myself. The other reports that come out, your profit and loss, your AP aging, all of those reports are accurate. Those numbers are right. Your bank account balances, those are all right numbers. They are all correct. This document, I can't.
And remember, Pam, we've been saying since the very beginning that whoever's transferred from QuickBooks to AccuFund did not do it properly. And so that's why we get wonky numbers. And the auditor and John's been trying to fix them also.
So the fund balance is still off?
The fund balance is right, and the fund balance hasn't changed, the fund
Okay.
balance is
It's
still
good.
there, you're good, it's just within some of these accounts that things just weren't set up correctly.
So that's the historical number that we don't need, that's not
Right,
indicative of current.
right,
So somebody needs to come out and figure out, separate the current stat from the historical number.
right, and get it so that it reads currently, correctly.
Historical, okay.
Would it be appropriate or more understanding if this is that there's some language on this balance sheet that says there are problems with it?
I can.
We know there's problems with it.
Yeah, but from future people don't, so that if you put that down, if someone's trying to work this out.
Maybe a disclosure.
I can do that, I can have of it.
A footnote maybe, just to reference.
Paul?
Yeah, are you done?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Kind of along with what Pam's saying, this is a public document too, and the public's gonna see it, and so I think anytime we can make it clearer, or annotated. And to that point, I was gonna ask if we couldn't put a title in that box that talks about the ODOT loan, because anybody outside this room that would see those numbers wouldn't really know
Right.
what they refer to. It doesn't, I mean, it says interest, it says principal, but it's the ODOT loan, right? Maybe we could put a title in that box that said 2023 ODOT loan, something like that. And I understand that the STIF plan has been rewritten again. And is there a place that we have access to that as board members to see what it actually says today? Is it on the website? Can we get a PDF of it?
I'm sure I can get that for you.
At least I would appreciate, sure.
Maybe you could send that one to the whole board.
Sure.
Thank you.
For clarification, what is the STIP plan?
That's the money that we get from the payroll tax. That's the money that we get quarterly. That's the plan that we submitted for the biennium that says how we're gonna use those revenues. And it was,
Transportation improvement plan.
Improvement plan.
yeah. And it was rewritten when we shut down, and apparently it's been rewritten since.
No, that one, it was rewritten just to the 5 projects.
Right.
But I don't know that, and that went in front of OTC in November.
Okay, well, specifically, I know what it said when it was submitted, and now I understand that it's been edited to indicate that we can only restart past existing routes with that money.
Oh, gotcha.
And if it says that, I'd like to see that, because it's something I wasn't aware of, and so I don't think the rest of the board was either. It's a restriction that wasn't our intent, it wasn't on the first 2 iterations of that document. And lastly, I'd like to just put out, in case the rest of the board would be interested, and you and I spoke a little bit earlier, I would like to see on the dashboard all the grant agreements that are open right now, the number, the title, the original amount, the remaining amount, if we could. I think that would give us all a high-level view of how that fund, the status of that funding. I know even when I was on staff, I didn't have an awareness of all the existing grant agreements that were out there. I didn't know, if I didn't know the agreement was there, I certainly didn't know what funding was available. So I think it would be helpful to give us a fuller picture of our financial situation.
I like that idea.
Thank you. That's more than enough for me, thanks.
Pamela?
Okay, I had mentioned this before about the grants in terms of what you've received, what you've paid out, so it's more detailed, that we know exactly what the money received, what the money goes out, so that you have a quick,
We see the money that goes out.
Yeah, if I could, I'm not sure that the money going out is so important, because we have that in so many other reports. And we've already spent the money in most cases by the time we get reimbursed on the grants. Kind of what I was hoping for was to see what the state had promised us at the beginning of the biennium, and how much of those funds we had received and how much were still remaining. It kind of figures into, our cash flow. And once we get used to how Kelly's been able to get the reimbursements from the state, and we know how much money is left to operate against, I think that will give us a deeper picture of where we stand.
and the other thing you had mentioned, you did a report for ODOT. I thought the board was going to receive quarterly reports that were submitted to ODOT, or did I misunderstand you?
Well, I don't know, that may have been just in the interim, I'm not sure. There are plenty of reports that go to ODOT regularly.
He did the our internal quarterly audit.
Oh.
That was part of when we did our forensic audit, and then ODOT came back and had the different items that we needed to do. One of them was some internal auditing quarterly, and when we set that up, I spoke to our auditor and asked him the best way to do it. And I know this was discussed in another, but we basically, I go through and pull a list of all of the transactions for the quarter. I then give it to Craig. He goes through and marks all the transactions to be pulled. I pull those invoices, make copies of them and put everything together, and then a non-check signing board member comes in and reviews those to make sure that everything's there, it's accurate, and it makes sense. So it takes care of what ODOT has requested of us, but it also helps our auditor to be able to, when it comes time for him to come in and audit, it gives him more information. You know, we've had this looked at every quarter, and the person that's looked at it is not somebody from within the agency and not somebody that's a signer on the account.
It's a good practice internally for an organization to have.
So will the board see the draft budget that was sent to ODOT?
It has not been sent to ODOT.
Okay, when, after it's sent?
It will be released to the budget committee before it's released to ODOT. The board and the budget committee.
You mean on May 2nd?
This tomorrow, won't it be? Today?
Yeah, later this.
So I'm talking about the March 31st.
Right, it will be released this afternoon to the board and the budget committee and then to ODOT.
Is there, what, via email? I don't quite understand.
Via email, yes.
And so so the board doesn't have any say or?
It is simply a draft.
Okay.
It is a requirement of ODOT that we submit a draft budget to them by March 31st. Oregon budget law says that you cannot release it to anybody else until you release it to your budget committee. So in order to meet ODOT's requirement, we have to release the draft budget to the budget committee and the board, and then once that's done, we can release it to ODOT. It is simply a draft, and there will be updates to it before our May meeting.
Okay. Anything else? Mary, would you enter financials into our minutes?
Okay.
Thank you. On to continued business, and we will go to a budget training. And Kelly, that would be you.
So I just wanted to check, so we had talked last month about doing some budget training before we roll into budget season, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys still wanted to do that after attending the Oregon budget law, because I feel like the Oregon budget law really has a lot more to say than I do, but if you guys want a training, I'll put something together.
I'm satisfied with what we received for those 3 days.
Oh, yeah, it was extensive.
And in as much as you will be the budget officer, I'm sure that if we have questions during the process, you'll be our resource.
Mary, would there be anybody on the budget committee that might, the citizen side, that might like the training?
I have no idea.
Maybe we could put out an email to them and see if anybody's interested, and then maybe you could hold one for them, and then if any of us wanna join in, we could. If you're putting one on for the committee
That
members.
Monday, Mary, the end of April, was it the
29th?
29th?
Okay, that works for you.
That works for me.
Okay. I'll send that out right after the meeting.
Okay.
Information is good.
So, and then let the board know if there's going to be one, so that if anybody on the board wants to join it, they can. I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. On to number 9B, approval of the budget committee applicant. And last month, we had 3 open positions. We had a couple of folks come back. Mary, I know you just gave me the list, which I've already misplaced. Mary and Jim Frame, and then, so that left 1 position. And I happened to mention to my friend Jim, which is up on Zoom today. And he was, I'd like to say all excited, but he said he beat me to it.
Jim's excited.
I've known Jim for a couple of years now. He was the treasurer for the HOA I belonged to. And very, very intelligent when it comes to finances. I myself have learned a lot about different things I never thought I would know. Not necessarily transportation, but other things. So if it's, we need a motion.
For all three, because,
So,
yeah, if it's appropriate, because Jeff Frayne is coming back, Mary's starting a new term, and so is Jeff, and so.
okay, Jason, Tracy, I'm sorry, Tracy?
I just wanted to say that I would reiterate my experiences with this candidate. Would definitely, I would be supportive, and I would support a motion if that's what's needed.
Okay, so we need a, Tracy, we need a motion for Jeff Frayne, Jim Alberg, and Mary Ann Brandon. Do you want to make a motion that we put all three of those?
Yes,
our
I would like to move that we submit those
Those three?
nominations and continue that.
Okay, thank you. Mary's got that. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any other discussion? Mary, would you take a vote?
Alrighty. Commissioner Labria,
Yes,
Commissioner Withers,
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald,
Yes,
Commissioner Bushmet,
Yes.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewicki.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you. All right, we have a full budget committee again this year.
Hey.
All right. And thank you for the three coming back, the two coming back and Jim coming on, so I'm excited about that.
Very
We'll
excited,
appoint,
very excited.
we'll appoint chair to the budget.
That will happen at the budget meeting, yes. Okay. We will move on to C, strategic planning update. You wanna take that one?
Yeah, I think at this point, we're starting to get some footing. I think once we get 15 established, we can start looking at a bigger picture. Maybe next month, we want to set up some specific dates where we can all get together and discuss how we want to move the district into the future.
Don't we have a date set up?
I thought we did
you
too.
did it in April.
April 24th?
24th is strategic.
Okay, that works for me.
That's our
If-
regular business,
The 25th.
25th, yeah, that's our regular business, we're gonna have it after our business.
I think we were trying to have our meeting at a different location.
Yep.
That evening, are we jumping ahead a little bit? Do we have that set up? So we're gonna have the strategic planning meeting the day of and the meeting in Seaside that evening.
Yes,
Perfect.
Is that
we had a nine AM meeting for strategic planning. My understanding, that's on the 25th,
okay?
which would have been our regular board meeting.
All right.
But however, we were changing that to have a meeting in Seaside, but the meeting in Seaside that I've been able to secure a place for is on the 23rd.
Okay,
So if we had a 9 AM on the 23rd here for the strategic planning, and then our meeting in Seaside will be from 6 to 8. So
on the 23rd instead of, so is that going to work for everybody?
We need to move everything to the 23rd.
Yeah.
yeah,
Pam?
this one's on the 23rd.
Little concern, so we have, 60 or whatever it is, personnel policies to do with the same month as strategic plan. Just wondering if we could break that up and do that, one or the other at a later date to do a good job of reviewing and thinking about it.
We're gonna be hitting into summer and people are gonna be busy.
In July,
I think,
maybe July, because we can't do it in May.
You know, if I might, I think we need to leverage this committee format a little more. I don't think that it's ever the intention, if we've already got a committee to put these policies together, that we end up, the board going word for word over them again in a board meeting. The last time we had policies that, I guess was the last board meeting, if there were ones that the board wasn't happy with, they went back to committee instead of having a long discussion at a regular board meeting.
I thought we were talking about personnel,
Well,
not
but
board,
this, but
not
this,
board policies.
it would be this, it would be the same.
It's still the committee that, did the committee not look at these?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, HR answers and SDAO vetted these.
It was the
I
board.
withdraw my comments. I misunderstood. Pardon me, Pam.
But these policies, the employee policies have been recommended by SDAO and HR answers.
Okay,
So I didn't think we were going over them word for word, policy for policy. I think what we need to do is read them very closely. Then we can let Sue know at the next meeting what, if there's anything that we would like to have her look into farther.
It's a living document, and I know that there's already gonna be changes in June with Oregon paid leave and BOLI and OFA. And so,
well,
these are not board policies, these are personnel policies.
no, I understand what they are.
Mhm.
It's very comprehensive.
It is very comprehensive, but it has been, they're the legal policies that the district needs to adhere to for employee governance. And we do not have a real, robust policy in place at this point. And so this brings everything together, and it's been put out by people who know their stuff, like HR Answers and then SDAO, and they both, we spent $1,200 having HR Answers review these. And I took into account all of the recommendations that they had, and so those are all incorporated in there.
So the concern I have, I hear that perhaps we're not gonna do much to change it, but I am a concern for the employees, you read this, and some of this is like expansive.
It is, Pam, but remember, this is so that the employees have a guidebook, the employer has a guidebook. I mean, every time we have an employee issue, our attorney says, what does your policy say? My next thing is job descriptions, because they haven't been updated forever. And what does your job description say? So these personnel policies cover all of the things that our attorney would want us to have in.
Now, I realize this is written for legal purposes. I'm just asking, how about the employee? When they go, what, 60 pages? That's what I worry about. And so is, not to change anything, but to make it perhaps easier to understand and look at if you're an employee.
I think you have to be cautious of that, because I've read policy plans and everything else, and you have to be extensive enough to cover everything. So if you start changing it and making it easier to read, you may leave out pertinent information or pertinent policy that you need to. That's federal law or state law. So I think you have to give them everything. I know it's gonna seem like you're reading something that's very complex, but it is a complex subject. You can't water it down too much.
Yeah, I understand, there's a balance. And I don't think this has reached it, but I understand that every situation has been covered. And maybe my comments aren't valid, then I know how much work to spend on this too.
Mary?
I'd like to say something as an employee. And the last time I helped work on the policies when we redid them in 2012, and our world has really changed. I mean, as far as liabilities and things like that. But like we talked about with board policies, having someone, and Sue does this, I'm sure, sits down with the new employee and goes through the book. And then they take it home and read it. And I'm sure that you can put a cover on there. Glad to answer any questions, bring the book back in and we'll go over any questions you have. And I think that would make me feel really good as a new employee, that I know I can bring that back in and say, this, I don't really understand. What does this mean? What does this mean? What do I have to do and not do? You know, things like that. So, but as far as liability and where our world is today, it is important that we cover all bases, for sure.
And I agree with Mary. I think because as we're working through board orientation also, where Mary's gonna sit down and she's gonna go through that 3-ring binder with the new board members instead of just shoving it at them and saying, hey, this is all you need to know. Sue can sit down with the employee on their first day and say, here's your policy. I'm gonna go through it with you a little bit, hit the high points. That's what I do across the street when I have a new employee with my policy. My policies aren't quite like yours, but mine are 25, 30 pages, just for a staff, or for a staff. I hit the main points. I send it home with them, and then after they've had it for a couple, 3 weeks, giving them time to look at it, sit down and talk to them again. Do you understand? Did you have any questions? So we're not gonna be changing a lot in here. I've gotten about, and I'm reading it really carefully, I've gotten about a third of the way through it. There's a couple little things I've found that I would like to see changed, but I'm not changing much. Do I think it's way too big? Yeah, I think it's way too large. But then again, everything I've read so far, I think needs to be in there. So I think it's important that we as a board read it very, very carefully. Make sure, maybe something needs to be expanded. But what we've seen go on through this last year, what we've heard from the employees, the one employee that we did have issues with, I don't know. Guillermo?
Yeah, I'd just like to comment as a union steward for the state for 12 years. I think it's essential, and I read that, and I think it's essential to have more than less. It's cover our bases across the board.
Well, the drug and alcohol policy in itself is what, 30 pages? I mean, that is specific to SETD.
How many pages do you remember was the county's budget?
80 or 90, yeah.
I printed it out one time.
Oh, yeah. And I plan to, when we roll this out to the employees, I'm sorry, Daniel, but I plan to get together with them and to discuss it. And, you know, and maybe at staff meetings go over certain, you know, regulation that maybe I've heard people interested in, just to kind of hit so that there is training in this. This is my plan. And then when, instead of, the only thing I've been able to do since I've got here is just, if we have a new policy, just give it separately. But now I'm gonna have it in sections where you will redo the whole section and they can just put it in their new section, new section. So I'm hoping it'll be a lot more streamlined. And yeah, and I don't know how much, yeah, it's just.
You have to cover all the bases.
Oh, yeah.
You
I
do have to
understand that.
cover all the
And
bases.
potential bases. The bases you don't know about.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And like Mary commented, yes, in today's arena, it's a whole different ballgame regarding labor and management and all these other in-betweens, remote, blah, blah, blah. And
The collective bargaining agreement will always trump
Yeah.
the personnel policies when it comes to,
And that's what I'm looking for in the policies. I haven't seen that yet, but I'm looking for it.
a statement that says that? I don't think it's in there. So good.
Pam, I asked a friend of mine that's on a transportation board in a different district for their policies. They don't have any policies. They have bylaws. I read their bylaws. They're just out there waiting for a lawsuit, in my opinion.
And Debbie, that's what HR Answers did this huge, for SDAO in the districts. And I was kind of, well, mine wasn't in place or approved yet, but when we had the SDAO conference, she asked everybody in there, who's had those policies approved yet? And there weren't as many hands as she would have liked, so, yeah. But no, that's why they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I say one more thing too, as far as SDAO's input? They are who we have our liability insurance through. So they know what needs to be in there because they provide our liability insurance. So they're very educated in that. And then HR Answers, we've been using since I came to work here in 2010. They have grown and then become part of SDAO under their umbrella. So they've been providing this service to us for 10 years, or 15 years, sorry, 15. So they're very HR Answers. We used them in 2010, got them here.
Yeah, the policy was free, because we're part of an HR alliance through SDAO.
Wonderful.
But, the review did cost us money. They gave us 4 hours free, but it took longer than that because we have a lot of policies like drug and alcohol, criminal check,
Are we still on strategic planning update?
Yeah, kind of.
We've got an action or something?
So, well, we got,
Is there a motion on the floor?
no, there's not a motion on the floor.
Let's call the
Can we get
question.
one?
Paul, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, if you remind me, are we talking about 23rd?
Yes.
Then I move we schedule the strategic planning update meeting for April 23rd at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And that's here.
Yes, so it'll be here, and then we'll move down to Seaside for our meeting.
That same meeting.
Yeah.
At
Where?
6.
Mary will tell us that in a minute. Do I have a second?
23rd is a Tuesday.
Yes. I'll second it. Any discussion? Okay, strategic, Mary, would you make?
Commissioner Legria?
Yes.
Commissioner Withers?
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald?
Yes,
Commissioner Usmet?
Yes.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Lewicki?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
All right, now let's go back, okay, so we got strategic planning out of the way, and I would like to get a lot of this stuff taken care of before summer, so we have more time for summer things. Directors, Executive Director Evaluation Committee update. So, about a year ago, we formed the committee to do the Executive Director Evaluation, and Deanna had been on that committee. And so Guillermo, I had appointed you to that committee, if you remember, right? And I would like to appoint Paul to take Deanna's place. We are going to do an executive director evaluation for Craig's 6 months. And then we'll get back into the 1 year, so we have his evaluation done before budget.
So we're effectively gonna be moving that date near the budget.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So I would like to appoint Paul to that position at this time. Do I need a motion? Mary, do I need a motion for that? I think I can just appoint him.
No, you do not need a motion.
So who is now on that committee?
So it'll be Guillermo, myself, and Paul.
And there'll be Zooms.
No, because we'll have to go into executive session
Okay.
to do any discussion. Any of our meetings will have to be in executive session. We will meet really soon, gentlemen, to go over questions and kind of get things started. So I'll get together with you guys and we'll figure out a time. Yes, Charles?
I'll volunteer as a backup in case you need.
Okay.
In case there needs to be back.
All right, thank you. All right, that is done. We can move on to new business, number 10. And I don't see anything listed, so we can move right by that. Any correspondence?
Yes.
All right.
Correspondence in the packet, we received an official notification from ODOT that the transportation options
Okay.
Page 159.
So at the time of the shutdown, obviously, transportation options was canceled. And we lost the funding for transportation options at that time. This was just official notification from Suzanne Carlson, who's the head administrator of the Public Transportation Division, that we have lost that.
And that's the amount there.
I have a question, what do you mean by loss? Is it like gone further or?
We had a transportation options program here before I was here, so I'm not real familiar with it. And it was funded through an ODOT grant. We lost that grant money that had been promised to us for the program because we shut down. So they pulled that grant.
So so Paul, make sure I'm right on this, please. This was the program that Kathy Cleese ran, and it was within the 3 counties, Columbia County, Tullahoma County, and our county.
Yes.
So all 3 counties have lost that. One of those other 2 counties could take it up if they wanted to.
Yeah, and I don't know if somebody already did, but we lost the expense as well as the income, so it was a wash.
Right.
So we didn't really lose any money, we just lost money, but we didn't really lose
So
money.
it's not one of those things that's renewable.
It's gone.
It would come after service restoration.
Yeah, we need to focus on, we need to focus on the buses.
Right.
That's what we need to do.
All right. Executive Director report. That would be you.
That is me. All right. Thank you, Jason. Oh, good. And Pam, I got your note on that. We'll get the names on there next.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, managing resources. It's been a very busy month. Things continue to be busy. We're fully in budget season. Me and Kelly worked very diligently to get our draft budget about ready to go, and that'll come out this afternoon. But let's get to the monthly stuff. Managing resources. We're in the process of hiring a bus cleaner now that our TSS position is filled.
What is TSS?
That is a service.
Transportation support specialist.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So basically,
Not a
like,
mechanic.
no, not a mechanic. That's like Stephanie here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Our biggest need right now, and this has changed in the last week now that we know we're gonna be beginning Route 15 in Warrenton. We're in the process of getting another driver, and the biggest need in this organization, we're gonna need another mechanic. We obviously only have one right now. And that's not long-term feasible to continue. We need another mechanic. And you'll see that in the budget. Service specialists, we're considering consolidating these service specialists all over here at the TCs, or at the TC. And that would be to give us some better coverage over here. We can expand our hours from like 7 to 5. And because we'll have more people here, possibly stay open instead of closing during the lunch hour. It would improve our service to the public. Be nice to also have them all under one roof. We're working out the nuts and bolts of that, and I'll give you an update on that in the future. Nowata, we've applied as a group for the 5339 grant on the zero emission vehicle feasibility. And the reason we're doing that, and it's being spearheaded by Tillamook, is we want to look at zero emissions vehicles as a region versus as a single transit. It makes more sense to take a holistic look at the entire region rather than each individual transit, try to come up with their own plan at bringing zero emission vehicles into service. Leading people have a presentation at the Cannon Beach City Council next Tuesday.
See you then.
All right.
Missed you last time.
I will be there.
I forgot to tell Charles we weren't coming.
Oh, they told me, oh, he canceled. I was like, oh, really? And I laughed. They're like, well, you can talk. I said, no, we'll leave it up to Craig.
I don't plan on lifting any more tires between now and then. So I'll be there. The website transition's underway. Right now, it's kind of in a sandbox. They've taken it from Trillium. And they're kind of making some changes. We've submitted some changes to be made to it to get everything updated. And then they'll release it into the wild, so to speak, and take it over there. And then in the future, we'll be looking at a makeover of the website. If you want to see something that is similar to what we're trying to get, it would be rideclackamas.org. Which is a very nice, interactive, easy to understand website for public transportation. That's what we're aiming for. Quality of life, we had our Transit Employee Appreciation Day. We had a potluck lunch with raffle drawings and prices. A great time was had by all. Jason put together a fantastic video that's available on YouTube for your consideration. Whenever I'm feeling down, I just put that video on. It brings me right up. Thank you so much, Jason. Employee of the quarter, it's going to be implemented this first quarter. And the big prize will be lunch with me. Board members are excluded from consent. Improving the organization. SDAO conducted their inspection of the facilities, and we actually have the reports back from them. They did identify several severe deficiencies with both the TC and the Warrenton ops, and we're already addressing some of those as we speak. Some of the bigger issues like roofs, it's hard to get people to actually come out and do inspections, but we've started that. We're starting to get some inspections. I'm worried about the structural integrity, specifically on this building. There appears to be a sag in the roof here. So we need further information before we can appropriately budget monies going forward. We need to know what we need to do, basically. And that's begun. We're currently getting estimates, and that'll be reflected in the budget that you receive. Social media and logo. Do you have a question?
No.
Social media and logo update. We're internally working on a logo. We want a better social media presence. We're looking at other possible social media avenues other than just Facebook. And we want to have regularly scheduled postings so that it's not just board meeting announcements and stuff. We want stuff that our passengers can actually use to help them ride the bus, etc. So we're working on that. Also, we're planning on. Sure.
Often when I go look at other transit districts, there's particularly Facebook, it's an image driven, and they'll have pictures of the driver and some passengers.
Or a bus going down the road, video.
And passengers all, waving and hey, good morning and everything. I think those images on that particular platform are important. So, and they say the old image worth more than 1,000 words. That's actually true, really. And so they see happy drivers, happy bus people riding. I don't know how you do that. Everyone's got a camera, right? So maybe solicit photos from the riders or from drivers and you can call them or something like that.
Well, we have a lot of videos, like Jason does a video every week. But what we need to do is get them to where we're gonna, post them on some of the social medias and all that stuff, so it's a little more interactive for the passengers.
Yeah, Tracy also.
Go ahead, Tracy.
I wanted to also add in that social media and logo update, if you were talking, when we start 15, can we look or investigate the possibilities of changing our maps that are pretty much outdated in the shelters, and provide maybe some logo update and bus route information, specific to what we have as an existing account?
Absolutely, Tracy. In fact, we've discussed this at our team meetings. Once we get Route 15 reestablished, we want to create a new printed map that's available for people on the buses, as well as the new updated website. So it's more easier for people to use. No matter how advanced we become as a society, we are always going to have some passengers that do not use the website. They are used to the paper map, the fold-out paper map. So we're going to develop one of those, and we've increased our printing costs accordingly. And we will also get Spanish versions of those as well. All right, budget law training. We've already talked about this. Quite a few of us, including many members of the board, attended the budget law training on March 12th, 14th, and 21st. Service delivery and operations. The big news is we're gonna restart Route 15 on May 1st. We're currently looking at the route. There's gonna be a few minor modifications to the route. We're getting a driver in place for the route. So everything is coming along just fine. That'll be a big accomplishment for the district. I think at that point, we will at least have a basic transit system in place servicing our community. I mean, we can still go further from there, but that'll at least give us a baseline of services in classification. Ridership, we had a nice bump last month. We went up 10% in fixed route ridership in February. We'll see if that continues along this month. I'm hopeful. Paratransit ridership remains steady. And specifically in terms of paratransit, for the upcoming RLS audit in August, we're kind of updating our internal processes. We're creating a rider's template, updating our application and ADA plan. You guys will see more about that as we continue. So if you go to the next slide, Jason. Here you see our nice bump. We had our biggest bump since the closure back in May last month. And that's encouraging. Typically you see an increase during the summer months when the weather's a little nicer. So it's nice to start seeing that in February. Go to the next slide, Jason. And we're remaining pretty steady with paratransit ridership. Okay, any questions?
Good job.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer.
On the board. I just wanted to add, it has been a very busy month. It's amazing how you can always find something to do. So yes, we've had the inspection. We've been working over at Ops, working on those severe findings and working towards putting those on our budget request, because some of those will be large item purchases to be compliant. And then Rick and I are working on inspections, vendors, a regular schedule, maintenance checkoff list per se, like a weekly, monthly, yearly, some of those inspections that need to happen for the facilities and the vehicles. And those include large things like the fire alarm, sprinkler riser system, and some of those things we communicated with Kevin from SDAO and helping us, all the things that he was looking at, both here at the TC and in Warrenton, and then, the roof situation and his recommendations on taking care of these, large items down to small, everyday things. So, and small things were like just a label on the lift in the shop. So, it just needs to be notated on there, the limits and that kind of thing. So, and those are easy to fix. Yeah, so we've been working on those things, and then of course Route 15. And we have a small crew of us, great input in putting the 15 on, and a lot has changed since the 15 was running, a year ago, and so Warrenton has experienced a lot of growth in housing and commercial growth. So, we always want to put service where service is needed. So we went and drove it a couple weeks ago. We all compiled some ideas and where we want to omit maybe part of the service and hit the Warrenton Middle School if the time allows, miles allow, because that all costs. So I take that into cost, and I let Kelly know, and I told her we want to stay as close to miles and hours as close as we can, and so because she already has those numbers. So financial is taken into consideration on putting the 15 back on the road. And so the driver situation is also kind of gonna dictate the service. Monday, I hate to say this, Monday, we will have 3 current drivers out on medical. Yes, and so we've been very creative for the last few months actually with drivers and sharing paratransit drivers and fixed route drivers. A driver will drive half-day paratransit, half-day fixed, 6 days a week. So that will be very much taken in and to be taking place next week for sure, and has already taken place today. So, and then bringing on this route, we've already had 2 drivers decline the job offer, and so we're down to 5 drivers left on our list from last year. And I believe that one of those will take the job. It was what I was afraid of. We would come to this point where they're well established into their new job that they probably had since May last year, and it was a hard decision for the 2 that I've already called and asked if they would like to come back and take on what they were doing before they left. And they had to give it 2 days. They had to think about it because they loved working here, and so it was a really hard decision. And so we had hard conversations, but I told them totally understand. When things change, come back and call and visit. And so I think it will continue to be a hard decision for the 5 drivers left on the list. But I have hopes that somebody will definitely jump on that and take it. We are always looking for temp drivers because, like I said, next week we'll have 3 drivers out, and we need somebody to kind of fill in that empty spot because our drivers are driving 6 days a week right now, and they can only do that for so long. Anyways, and so, but we are optimistic, and 15 will be on the road and soon, and I think we've hit some really good. We drove it yesterday, and it's an awesome route, and we're hitting a lot of new housing development, and like I said, the middle school, and the Warrenton Park. We didn't used to go by the Warrenton Park, so yeah, so Jason won on that deal.
Yes, I did.
I do hear that the executive director still has his CD license.
Yeah, he's offered to drive.
Just
That's a good day.
Yeah, when you see us both on the road, yeah.
No doubt.
Is there any questions? I didn't hit everything on there, but does anybody have any questions about my report or Route 15? I didn't bring a copy because I'd hate to show you something that's probably gonna change in the next week or days. But does anybody have questions?
Do you think that when you have a final draft of that route, that you could send it out to the board to be aware? I'd be really interested in seeing how you're gonna address that.
Would you like the turn by turns too?
No.
Right now.
Yeah,
Big
yeah, definitely.
Stop this time, stop this time,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah,
No, just schedule would be good too, if you have one, but.
yes.
Curiously, we got one letter that we got from those high school kids when we first shut down. And this will take care of that,
Yeah.
answer that. That was kind of touching, so.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you. Sue?
Good morning again. Anything that you'd like to ask me? I got a couple things. Yes, Pamela?
So I'd just like to know how many employees budgeted for this past or soon to end fiscal year? Because I thought it was it 18? I thought it was 18. Am I wrong?
Kelly, I'm not sure. I think it,
18.
Could have been,
I think that was our number, but
that was our budget
that was our number there, but
a year ago.
but yeah, in the midst of mass chaos. But if you look at the financials and what's available as far as funds left available in the amount that was budgeted for personnel services, we're sitting well.
And again,
51% that we've spent so far this year, we've just got a few months left. And so we're really under in personnel expenses for the year, so we are well within budget. Yeah, so, I mean, we could find out what that number was, Pam, but, you know, I think, how many was it, 15 in the very beginning? And then in September, October, we
We had
hired.
planned, yeah, so I think we budgeted, I think when we did our budget, we did it for 18 was our employee number, but our actual dollar figure was much higher than.
so it'd just be, you know, comforting, so to that the budget was 18, and then you have 4 more people, so that there's money in the budget.
Yes.
So if there's a little, just a caveat, just,
We've only spent 55% of our payroll monies.
right, it'd just be nice
We're
to
way
look at
We're
it
way under budget.
Yeah.
as easy to look at, easy
Your
to know.
financials, if you look at the financials, it gives you personnel services, which is our payroll, all of our payroll, our taxes, our benefits, our everything.
Right,
And 55% is all we've spent for the
yeah, but
entire
it
year.
still would be nice to have that, the budget was 18 and you've added 4.
Okay, we'll take note of that, Pam.
Okay,
Yes, okay, and, yeah, if we could, well, and every month I'll provide you like with the demographics of how many people.
right,
And we will be adding one more to that. When we hire our lot facility attendant, he's coming on board on the 8th of April. Big, great thing, Kevin, Bauer bought a vest at Home Depot, neon yellow vest. And so everybody, I want one. Well, he bought it himself. So Craig, said, okay. And so for, Transit Day, all of the drivers and mechanics and Stephanie, anybody out in that needs to be seen was provided with a vest, and they just love it. Thank you for my vest. So I'm really glad we were able to do an attaboy there.
Good job.
Yeah. Lauren Hedrick is taking to transportation support specialist position. She is so far ahead of the curve. So anyway, we are really happy with her. She was originally hired as a transportation support specialist and,
She was originally our lot attendant
Yeah,
for
she
about
was-
2 days.
originally our lot attendant, yeah, for a few, maybe a week. Yeah, anyway, so then she moved into the transportation support specialist position. I'm really happy to have her there. But yeah, I attended a Lower Columbia Human Resources Management Association meeting, and a representative from Foley was there and gave us all the good news about the changes to Oregon paid leave and OFLA, which will be never ending. So anyway, any further questions? Hopefully you'll give me any kind of revisions or typos or whatever, the personnel policies, so I can get them in place and we can get those together so that we can provide our employees with a very comprehensive legal document.
Oh, Mary,
switch.
goes our executive assistant. Oh, it's Mary.
Been very busy with the board policies. And we are going to be scheduling hopefully our final meeting of completion within the next 2 weeks or so. Emily looking at me like, oh.
I'm gone.
Okay, when Pamela gets back, yeah, that's right. But anyway, and then, I've been working on scheduling the meeting that's gonna be in Seaside on the 23rd. And again, it will be at Bob Chisholm Center, and that's at 1225 Avenue A, 1225 Avenue A. So the goal of this is to do outreach in Seaside. And so we need to talk about an agenda, or be thinking about what you want on the agenda. Like Rebecca had said in the last meeting, we need to make it rich or pertinent to what we're doing in Seaside and South County and Cannon Beach. So be thinking of that, and if you have any suggestions or want anything on the agenda in particular that we need to talk about, or that you think that would help the people down there, the writers down there, or the non-writers down there. Unfortunately, anyway, it's from 6 to 8, so you need to be there about before 6. It's a large venue, large area.
It's a great location, by the way.
Yes.
Baptism. I know we normally do advertise our meetings for an historian
Yes, and
for
it's
our regular meetings.
I sent it to the Signal too.
Could you send one, since we want South County, one Cannon Beach Gazette? They're weekly printing, so
Yeah,
I don't know if it's budgeted or not.
yeah, I send it to the Seaside Signal, and I send it to the Daily Historian.
Okay.
And I send it to the radio station down there, KMUN's up here, it's the other one down there.
Oh.
I sent to them, I hope that they go down, I don't always listen to that station, so I don't, but they do it in their public. But I can send it to the Gazette.
Yeah, they print
Weekly.
weekly,
Yeah.
and if there's some available by the time, well, there won't be any notification will be printed by the time Paul speaks there, next Tuesday?
Yeah, at Cannon Beach.
Cannon Beach.
Yeah.
Will the notification be ready by then? Cause I'll go to the meeting, maybe pass them out in the audience. If it's not.
Sure, I can make it work.
No, I want you, if it's not, I can.
Yeah, that's the problem with the weekly papers is the timing.
Yeah.
Because it, we usually get our.
It wouldn't be in there by Tuesday.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have to get it, have to get it on, and so it is difficult to make that, but.
But we'll try to make that one.
Yeah, okay. And, I wanted to show you that we did, I don't know if you saw it, we did get an article in the paper. These cost, it's not free to put in the paper, they gave us quite a deal, but this would be $1,000 ad, it's like, $1,000, right? But they gave me a $500 deal, but that's how much it costs and why we have been restricted in doing that is, but you wanna look at it, but this was just for the better transit employee appreciation day.
Well, I think that's money well spent.
It is, yeah, I was so happy.
Good
So-
timing and everything.
Yeah, I was so happy to do that. It's been a long time since I've been able to put anything on paper. That's one of the rules that was here that.
I'm just trying to figure out a way that we can get the message, because I live in South, I live in Cannon Beach.
Yes, correct.
I don't read the Signal at all.
Okay.
Cause it's seaside.
So I know you're good at knocking on doors, get out there and start knocking on doors.
I need something to hand out. I'm glad to do it. I just think,
Will do.
I know it's always been fraught with Cannon Beach's the service times and such, but I think we fill some of that by having the early morning and the afternoon, late afternoon run. But hopefully we'll get back to the point where we'll have more. Can't promise them anything, I know that, but at least know what we're thinking about if we do that, so then we have. Because it's great to see the bus coming and going, and also the bus on Saturdays and on weekends. What's that one actually called, Pacific?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. There's always been a debate about, they need the store owners, restaurant owners want something later, but you can't do that. You just have to.
Well, there's 5 nice shelters down there that they have put up for us.
I know.
They're lovely, and I post our routes down there and announcements all the time. But they also keep them very clean, and when they clean them, they take them down. So they don't stay up very long, unfortunately. So it's kind of constant.
I think I know someone in Parks and Rec, maybe. That's the one who's cleaning up Parks and Rec, it's cleaning up.
Oh, I don't know who cleans. No, it's a service, I think, that cleans for it. Cannon Beach, yeah, but they often take them down, it happens in Seaside a lot too. When they get cleaned, a lot of times everything gets taken off of the shelter, so, yeah. But I'll find the contact for the exec. I didn't really know. I had used to contact them, but things changed and I didn't know they were really publishing a paper. Are they publishing a paper every week?
Thursdays, yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right, it was electronic for a while, okay.
It's fairly reasonable. I don't know if you can shrink the maybe quarter page, half page, full
Oh,
page.
yeah, no, yeah, you can do, yeah.
Quarter
They might
page.
have a section on public announcements as well.
And they may do it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't, there's no. Okay,
Is that all?
I think so.
All right, Jason.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for everything that you all do for SETD. Before I get started on my report, I'd just like to shout out to the team that I work with. Man, I'm telling you, it is a fun time to be around here. And just after what we went through, but seeing the development, the guidance, the freedom of thought, it's really cool. And I really appreciate the 15 and the work that they're doing to ensure that that hits. Not just the traditional, just simple route, but we're trying to get to people. So good job on that. So anyways, yeah, Rural Transit Day is coming up here pretty soon, actually in July. So we talked about the recent one that we just recently had, which was fun, and I did a video for that. And I'm gonna ask each and every single one of you, from now until maybe just a little before July, anybody has the opportunity and the willingness to cut a little video of yourself, a little video selfie somewhere that you hold dear to your heart or something, and send it to me so I can get it in the next video I'm gonna make for Rural Public Transit Day. It's important because it highlights us in a really positive light, really shows that we enjoy what we do and stuff. So if you need help with that, please let me know, okay?
How long was it?
How long?
How you know, these are really just probably, short little 10-second, maybe maximum 30-second clips, but I like the video to move. So yeah, 10 to 30 seconds. If it's 30 seconds, man, make it a good one.
So should we say, like, should the board member say their name? And you want to be, instead of just saying,
Yeah.
I think they should say, all of us should say our name.
Well, it's really up to them personally. I mean, everyone that I
Okay, all
speak to, I say, do what you would like to do and what you'd like to say. Some people are uncomfortable saying, hi, I'm Jason Jones and stuff like that. However, though,
It might be kind of cool.
it would be
I'm a
cool.
board member.
Yes. And if you do need me, like I say, if you need help for me to come and film your section, I'll be glad to do that. Okay? All right. So anyways, mobility manager report is really kind of a smorgasbord of work for me. I helped 3 writers. People are still, and the 15 is going to help this big time, but individuals talking to their work managers and their scheduling managers to ensure that they can abbreviate that for now so they can get to work and not lose their job. Those conversations are hard because, scheduling managers, they have their needs, but the employees have a need on how they get there. So, but they all work out usually when I go talk to them. Let's see here. We continue to stay engaged with our community as much as possible. I'm attempting to just get into anywhere that will take me right now. Set up a booth or even just sit at a chair and talk to somebody, bring in documentation or whatever. So if you know of anywhere that's lacking or would like to have any kind of transportation information there, Mary does a lot of that as well, but I will go out and really center on travel training type issues. And let's see here. I travel trained 8 individuals in the last month, and those are starting to be kind of awkward at times, but it's working. And again, the 15 will be a huge godsend for that, and we're thankful for the assist. I mean, I should hopefully get more people to travel train during that time. And let's see here. That's really kind of all I wanted to focus on. If there's any questions, please.
Job fair.
Oh, that's right. I can't believe I forgot about that. Attended the job fair at Classic Community College. Really thankful that we got a chance to be there and hang out with so many students and other members of the community and so forth. Craig came and was there and provided some assistance in that matter and stuff. We had a lot of fun. I would highly encourage you down the road when we have another one that you have anybody you know, just send them over there. We like to talk to people. Sometimes you feel very encouraged because you feel like there's a lot of people out there that are kind of interested in it, you know, but there are a lot of mechanic wannabes out there. So that might help us out in the region. So yeah, it was a great time to be there. So
It is a wonderful venue too. It is
Yeah,
a
it was, yeah.
wonderful place at the college to have a job fair. It is wonderful.
yeah, they condensed it down, which was kind of cool. It used to be a 5-hour deal, and then you'd have all the students for the first 4 hours, and the last hour was regular community, but they just mixed them all in together. You know, the only downside to that is there are some who are really looking for work, you know, that are not students. And sometimes you get that huddled group of students who just wanted one of my high-vis vests. They had to have it. So they huddled there, and we had some talks, but unfortunately, maybe there were some people that kind of like, well, I'll move on. There's too many people there. So we'll see how that goes. Overall, it was good though.
We used to have it at the fairgrounds, so it was too spread out there.
Mm-hmm. Way too spread.
Now you can see, everybody can see each other. And then you can go upstairs and look down upon it, which is really helpful too, to see who is all there and where you want to go as a student.
Yep.
Yeah, wonderful.
Thank you, Jason.
Welcome.
That's the end of our agenda. So if there are no objections, do you have an
I don't have an
objection?
objection, but I have a comment.
Okay,
I'd just like to compliment staff on the terrific financial position that we're in now compared to where we were 10 months ago or 9 months ago. To have money in the bank, to have money in contingency, to be looking at adding back routes, which certainly helps to have the great morale that I see developing on the staff. I just think that our staff is doing a great job.
Thank you.
I agree.
That was all started by.
Charles?
I will say this time last year, we didn't know what we didn't know. What was coming a year ago from today, we did not know. We've come a long way since last April. It was hard, it was trying, it was painful, it was sorrowful, it was all the above.
Brutal.
And, I think I was committed to seeing it all the way back. I think the rest of my board members and friends, most of you, were determined to see it come back. We're not there yet, but I feel we're on the way back. And I think what snuck up on us last April, I don't think that can happen again. Because I think we know more and we require more. And I think that's the right man to get us all the way back.
And I think our key moving forward, like we've said since we started this, is we want to put things in place so that no matter who's in the position, they can't happen again. And I think we're well on the way to doing that.
It was a year ago, this meeting, that we were told, oh, don't worry about it, we're fine.
Exactly.
And it was 14 days after that.
So we gotta shut down Friday.
When it was 14 days after that, that I was told we didn't have money for payroll, and then we thought we had our contingency money, but that had already been spent. We were able to go 2 more weeks, and then that was it. I'm happy that right now, I'm not looking backwards anymore.
No.
That's in the past, we're done with that. It's all moving forward. We'll have a good basic routes going by the time 15's up, and we'll just keep building. We've got a lot of things that need to be fixed and maintenance that's not been done over the years that needs to be addressed. And we do have to address that, but I still think we can keep moving forward, and maybe this time next year we'll have a couple of more routes.
We'll see how the money.
Yes. But, and I love saying contingency.